Money.
Okay, I think it's recording now.
Relax.
Shut the fuck up.
Your drawing also kind of reminds me of the one woman who's like, "Attention, movie lovers! If you see my popcorn flying in the air, please don't be scared. Thank you." Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
You haven't? Oh. I was gonna say that video was everywhere at one point. I don't know how the fuck you didn't see it. Attention, movie lovers. That meme was like, I want to say that was like last summer, I think.
Huh?
That meme, yeah. Attention, movie lovers.
I thought that
That was like when I was working at McDonald's, I think.
Really? I thought that was created in Minecraft.
No, that was way before Minecraft. That was before the trailer was even a thing.
Well, you know what fans we allied with.
Hmm,
I'm fucking this one.
you're fucking up. Hmm.
Some niggas kill for it, up yeeks and still for it, still whores, real for it, thought they couldn't run
What the
me.
fuck?
Cause all the shit that
What the
I've
hell?
seen, human nature ran us in a ditch. Niggas taking from their mom if deposits didn't hit. Tapping pockets for a capsule just to drift off in a bliss. Get a fix, getting light, getting rich, get a vote, go get it, get some praise, get a girl, maybe four, my nigga, anything to cope, my nigga, anything for power, profit, power, like by thousands, I mean anything, you know? I mean any dream is close to mine, a poster child with new vision, follow you, I'm close to blind, fall through with all desires, once I grasp this, when I lose it, motherfucker, you knew what it was. We run back, I said anything, we know can
Radters.
Ratters. What? What the fuck are you talking about?
Radter.
Ratters.
Try and formulate a word out of this. Try and spell a word out of this.
Oh, I see. Retard.
Yeah. Retard.
Do
Radter. I love calling people just like retard but spelled differently because they don't fucking understand what I'm saying. Radter. Rad. I like rad. Retard. Rad. It's funny too because you wouldn't think that something like that spells retard just saying it out loud. Rad. You actually gotta look at the word and be like, oh, it's because that's how I thought. Because I was just like you, I was just hearing radter.
Were you?
Uh,
Were you called a red rat?
no, actually, there's this FNAF fan game that has been worked on. Since I'm up there with the big leagues and stuff now with the cool developers and everything, and I'm friends with literally fucking everyone. There's this one game that's been around since I want to say like 2016 on Game Jolt. And there's a FNAF fan game called Radters. And this is this has been a game I've known for probably like half of my life at this point, or almost. But then I only figured out until recently that the game is just called Retards. Because I was like, wait, Radters. Oh, never came to me. So this whole entire time it's just been Radters, and I had no idea.
To me either. I would know that this entire time I was playing the game.
Because it sounds like a fucking mascot horror name, I think. Like Spacky or some shit.
I forgot about that.
The game is just called Radters. So it sounds like you're going to a building. Like, yeah, like Freddy, but called Rat Turds. But no, the game is just called Retards, and I had no idea. Of course it fucking is.
But they'll say it out loud again when they get with their close associates and friends. You know, sneak it in with their friends at the job, happy hour at the bar while the song is in a car. And even if it's never said and lips stay sealed, their actions reveal how their hearts really feel.
It's been a long time coming. First few times I'm still running. Have you heard that?
Are you singing the thing from Us?
No, that's It doesn't matter anyways, cause Washed. It's just Kanye's fucking bully. He quote unquote released a bully on Spotify, but he just reposted like 3 leaks and put it on Spotify. So it's not really bully, but whatever. But there's one song called Beauty and the Beast, and I really like the sample in it. And it's not talking about Hitler and the N-word all the time. So actually a normal Kanye song.
Wait, he doesn't do those anymore.
I know.
There must be something wrong with that guy.
This sucks too, cause I liked Kanye, but now every time I listen to him, I feel like I'm washed myself when I listen to Kanye. He's like, yeah, bro, because of the stupid shit he says. If I listen to him, then I'm just gonna feel like I agree with what he says. Subconsciously in my head.
He's winning you over with his serenade.
Fuck no. It's the same shit with like like if let's say there's one time one of my favorite music artists was outed as a pedophile. Stop listening to his music, because then I bet you if I listened to it, I would feel like I love children. So I'm not going to listen to it.
You know what? I guess you are your media.
You do you, man. Do you have my name as Milton on your Discord? You've named me like so much shit before, or nicknamed me so much shit. I think you named me like 99 miles per hour at one point or something like that.
Oh yeah, I named you miles per hour because I heard I seen a character
miles per hour.
Yeah. I seen a character that's called miles per hour, so I nicknamed you.
Miles per hour. But yeah, I've been playing Miles Morales on the PS5. This shit is cool. It's really fun. It's even cooler. No, that game, honestly, I remember I got the PS5 with my dad on the day of its launch, and we played Miles Morales, but I guess I was just too retarded to know any. I definitely didn't know anything about game development or design, at least as much at the time. So replaying through this stuff now, I've been playing through Miles Morales again with with settings like increased fidelity, ray tracing, all those fucking bells and whistles. That game is mind-blowing. There's like some scenes that actually look real, though the only like takeaway is that it doesn't run at 60 frames. It runs at 30 instead, which is fine. I still play it at 30 FPS. It's consistently 30 frames, so it's not like horribly to play, or it's not horrible to play.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Too bad that game sucks. Shit.
Like you've heard it sucks?
Huh? Oh no, it just does suck.
Miles?
Yeah, man. Fuck. Did you hear the dialogue in that game? That dialogue could be like the newest.
I think the writing. I don't know. I thought in the back of my head like, that sounds a bit. The delivery sounds a bit funny. I don't know if it's the writing itself. I think it's just the delivery most of the time. Just sounds very fucking off. I want to say.
The people they chose, the amount of care into the game, just the dialogue in general. It's not even the delivery. Just no one cares. No one cared about any.
I
actual
can't.
event.
Okay, well, I at least can't hate the gameplay then, because it is just Spider-Man. I think.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just
I played Spider-Man back when that came out, and I really liked it on the PS4.
I'm not a good judge of gameplay anymore because I like Arkham Asylum, and that game's like bare bones, so it doesn't take a lot to
Yeah,
entertain me.
I
So,
got guilty pleasures too. I would say Security Breach is probably a guilty pleasure for me, actually.
yeah.
No, that game's fucking ass, but I like playing it. Huh?
I said that game is ass.
It's
But
not
I like
okay.
the
Well,
story.
as a game itself, it's not a bad game. There's clearly effort put into it, but as a FNAF game, that shit ain't FNAF, bro.
Earned effort did
That is not a.
it's a good
It's
game.
not a good. It's not a good FNAF game, but it's a good game. It's not a good FNAF game.
I fucked up. I need to make the face bigger to fit all the stuff.
Fit all that.
Piddle paddle.
Looks like they just got stung by a bunch of bees.
That's my first reaction too. But
Is that how you feel when you get stung?
yeah, sometimes my toes feel like her face. So.
Oh yeah, like the one time you got stung when we were walking. Did your toes look like that picture, or feel like that picture?
It felt like that. It felt like my toe had obesity.
It's been a long time coming. Brush
Don't
new ties, I'm still ready.
think I am shaming this woman. I feel like I
Weird.
let myself get to this point one day if I was like really depressed and had absolutely nobody to love me.
You're just bullying this woman at this point.
Bullying her. Oh, what I'm saying is her life might not be good.
Well, yeah, no shit, probably not.
Uh,
Who knows if she's even alive still right now, really?
there's a lot of creators. They do the like. There's a lot of people who try to like I think like be like body positivity and think that means like
I do know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
like there's no self-improvement. You don't have to improve yourself or something. So if you're like morbidly obese and you're like about to be in like hospice or something, it'd be like a body positivity. That shit's great. And then they like.
I
end up
see
dying
why-
or something,
I see why people would get, or I see why people get upset about this stuff. But whenever I see it, I think it's kind of fucking hilarious. Like when fat women or just fat people in general get really irritated when they're like, why does my body take up 3 seats on an airplane? They should make planes bigger for fat people. This is fat phobic.
Yeah. No, that's you're getting.
Like,
rage
no, you're
baited.
just fat, bro. I don't know if it's rage bait. I feel like they unironically think like that.
I feel like
I
you
do
have
think
to
that-
have like a chromosome like actually taken out of your brain to like feel that way.
Well, yeah, bro, you're eating like salt and sodium and shit. That does fuck with your head, especially if you're fat like that.
Yeah.
Like Nikado Avocado, bro, when he was getting obese, that dude was getting mentally ill. Just crying randomly. Yeah, no, that shit can fuck with you. So that's why I'm like, I don't think they're rage baiting. Like, I really do think that they're like, oh yeah, we need to fix this for fat people.
Yeah, you know
Bitch,
what?
just get skinny.
That's a solid argument. Never mind, you're right. Yeah. That's
What, like how food can affect your mental thinking and shit?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. You know they don't
Mhm.
really give a shit like what they put in the food. They'll just be like, hey.
That's why you gotta eat your carrots and shit from time to time. Like if you're just living off fucking burgers all day, every day, yeah, no. You're probably gonna be like easily irritated and shit too.
Yeah, shit's worse than steroids. It's like free steroids.
It is.
Actually, they put
Yeah.
steroids in They put steroids in, I think, chicken. No, they give the chicken steroids.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. Except there's like some brands that don't do that shit apparently. They probably do it anyways.
I don't know, man. Everything for food is like super duper loose.
What does that mean, steroids for chicken? So like is the chicken just stronger when it's
No,
alive?
it fattens up the chicken.
More meat.
It makes them produce more hormones so they grow faster or some shit. And then like we eat that and then end up being like
So it's basically just kind of like it's like growing a plant but rushing it so that shit doesn't even taste good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then
But like they do with plants on like not highways, but like freeways or something. Not freeways? I don't know. The roadways, yeah.
roads.
They just like they put whatever tree that they doped up and just leave it out. I mean, I hate trees. I mean, I hate what people do to trees. Is that starting to look like it?
Yeah, I'd say so. The thing is with your drawings, they never look exactly like them, but I think they're close enough to be like, oh yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it's success.
No, I think people could easily connect the dots, maybe. Anyways, I have to go because there's a friend who wants to call me and we have to play a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, bye.
Bye. Right.
Bye.
Catch me outside, I'ma show this life. Catch me outside, yo. Why would I waste my time? Bring my vibes for the damn night. No advice telling me why I'm never inside. I brought shame onto my name. Tell me about no pain. It's like I'm falling out of faith with. Woman till I start some shit.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Are you serious right now? Stop that. Stop it.
Stop.
God, I've had it with these burps.
I couldn't see.
Oh, alright guys, do your faces look like poop? Not your actual face, I'm talking about the ones that you draw. I'm sure your face is beautiful. Anyway, so I wanted to do a bit of practice in my sketchbook this morning, and I thought, wait a minute, why not share that with you guys so that we can learn and grow together so that our faces no longer look like poop. Anyways, so here I'll walk you guys through the process, show you guys some of the practice work that I did this morning. My focus was on faces, because faces are tough. As you guys can see, the first page here, the very first warm-up is a bunch of skulls. Understanding how the human anatomy works plays a big part in being able to draw your face as well. Portraits of other human beings, I would say, is probably one of the hardest things that you can draw because our brains have this natural ability to recognize faces. We are very sensitive to things that don't look right on someone's face. We're very perceptive of other people's expressions. We're very perceptive of the way their faces are constructed because it's really life or death. If you're one of our ancestors and someone's looking at you like, they might be trying to kill you. That's why when you're drawing faces, if one tiny thing is a little bit off, the whole thing is gonna look off. Even after many years of drawing and practicing the human portrait, I still find that my faces look off sometimes. And I always have to go back and practice just to remind myself of the fundamentals that are required here. So just to briefly talk about these skulls, I try to draw them from different angles, and you can see here that this whole sheet took about 10 minutes. We're gonna be going at a very fast pace for this, and we are only using lines and very, very basic shading. The reason for this is because I'm not necessarily focused on rendering here, I'm just focused on being able to draw something, being able to capture it accurately, and doing it comfortably. Because, you know, we all get uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes you might see the face in this kind of angle, and you're like, whoa, what the hell is even that? So these are very nice and rough, you know, they're not very detailed at all. There's a lot of lines here that are more gestural as opposed to technical. And this is kind of the way that I like to draw in my sketchbook. I don't like to use my eraser too much. In fact, I don't think I erased anything that was on this page. 3/4, front view, 3/4, side view, a back view, and this skull right here is probably the most challenging one of the bunch, mainly because we're seeing it from a very unconventional point of view. And it's important that when you're practicing, do not run away from scenarios like this, because you want to put yourself through some challenges. Look, you gotta make yourself uncomfortable, all right? You gotta do things that are challenging to you, because that's the only way you're gonna grow. I want you to think of this kind of like getting your reps in at the gym. Each one of these pages is one of your sets, and every single drawing drawing is a rep. And through these repetitions in these sets, this is how you grow your artistic muscles. That's how you get huge. So after the first 10 minutes of sculpt practice, I decided to move on to our next page. Well, I didn't decide. I didn't have a choice. The page was full at this point. Anyways, so I felt pretty good. I was warmed up. I went straight into drawing faces and practicing a bunch of different heads. And you can see down here, this took about 20 minutes to complete. Essentially what I do is I pull up a series of Pinterest reference images and I go through them one by one. I try to get as many as possible. It doesn't matter if I like the reference or if I don't like the reference. As long as I can see all of the facial features and the reference images are relatively high resolution, it will definitely work as a solid practice piece. So 20 minutes for this means these were about 3.5 minutes each. Some might have taken longer, some might have been shorter. Again, we are speed. Lightning. When you're doing these repetitions in your sketchbook, you gotta remember to keep up the pace. You never want to get caught on one drawing and fixing it over and over again. If it's just not working out, it's time to move on. Definitely set a timer. Be aware of the amount of time that you're spending on each drawing. So overall, looking back at this page, I'm pretty happy with this one. This one. I think this one's alright, but there could be some improvements here in the jaw area. I think I fumbled that a little bit. But this one here is decent, but I do think some of the proportions on the face didn't really match what I saw in reference. I really do like the stylization in the front side of the face here, but I felt like some of these lines were a little bit stiff. But here's one thing that I noticed when I was doing this page of sketches, and that is, especially for this drawing and this drawing here, I felt like I was getting a little bit more tense, especially for these lines that outline the sides of the face here, and even over here as well on this guy. My hand, my pencil, it wasn't really moving in a way that was more free. And free is how I like to draw. You know, I like free. I like me a bargain. So because of that, I decided to change it up a little bit. So here's what I did next. These drawings that you see right here are called contour drawings. But essentially, this is one of the most OP methods to get yourself nice and loose, nice and limber and flowing like Squidward. A contour drawing basically means that you set your pencil down on one point of the page and you flow through this entire drawing without lifting that tip up. So basically, each one of these portraits here are constructed from one single very long and twisted line. And this method here does absolute wonders to just help you loosen up and get your hand moving in a way that's a little bit less rigid. And that's another important point. When you're practicing, you don't want to just do it brainlessly. You guys see how I noticed my stiffness in the previous page, so I decided to change directions and go for a different style of drawing just to get rid of that stiffness. I still have the stiffness in my hips though. God, it's But this is one thing that I like to call mindful practice, okay? You just keep your brain open, observe what you're doing, and if there's something in your drawings that you're actually not happy with, you gotta make a note of that. Be like, okay, this is what's causing the issue, and what can I do to potentially address that? So in the previous pages, I noticed stiffness in my lines. In the next page, we are doing a contour drawing to eliminate that stiffness in my lines. And throughout this entire process, something else that I really wanted to work on was simplification and stylization. So that's kind of what I moved on to next after I finished loosening up with some nice contour drawings. And this little contour drawing detour here only took about 10 minutes. Lightning McQueen. Now on my next page of drawings, this page we spent about 13 minutes on, and the focus for these drawings was supposed to be stylization, but I really wasn't happy with this first one. The second one has a little bit of charm, but still it wasn't really the best. The third one, this one I actually really liked. I felt like this worked pretty well, and one thing that I did differently here than the other drawings was I focused more on the overall shape of the head. I think there was a little bit more thought put into this one. It was just a little bit more intentional. Now coming down to the fourth drawing, I feel like I kind of lost my way there a little bit, even though it is stylized. It's not really done in a way that I really enjoyed, you know. I tried to really go for that weathered look, but instead of that, I got constipation. Fourth drawing is okay. I tried again to be a little bit more intentional with my shapes, but I don't think this was the right shape to use for this drawing. I feel like all of these drawings, aside from this one here, left me wanting a little bit more. Like, I know I can push the stylization more, but I wasn't really pushing it in the right directions. So guess what? We had to make another pivot. This is the next page. I was gonna just scrap this page, but I was like, you know what? I gotta face my responsibilities. So what I did is I pulled up some reference images of Disney concept art. So I just tried to refresh my mind on the way they stylized their characters, on the way they push their proportions, and I tried to apply some of that to the references that I was using on Pinterest of real people. Yeah, I mean, this one's alright, but I do feel like, again, the shapes could be a little bit more intentional. And then after I finished this drawing, I was like, I don't like it. I just tried to copy the proportion of the Disney face, and you can see I have failed miserably here. This looks like it was drawn by a toddler. I'm sure my ancestors saw this and were like, oh, shame for despair. Here's the real gem. Okay, let me show you guys the next page. I mean, if y'all have a sketchbook, I'm sure you guys have pages like this too, where it's just failure and pain, but I was like halfway through it and I was like, this ain't it. I, again, was not intentional enough with my shapes, and I think at this point I started to realize, I was like, I gotta do something a little bit different here. I gotta start with a clean slate. I'll come back to this page eventually. I'll fill it up with other things, but right now, I can't. Please. So with a heavier focus on stylization, that brings me over to our next 10-minute page. So that's about 2.5 minutes per drawing, and in this one I tried to be as intentional as possible with my shapes, and I think it definitely made a big difference here. Something else that also made a big difference was that contour drawing page. It just loosened me up. I became limber. And you can see that with a lot of these lines, they really just start to flow into each other. Take this one for example. There's a sense of energy in these lines that just was not there before. And I'm really happy with this page because you can definitely clearly determine the shapes of these characters, the shapes of their heads. Stylization on this guy, for example, squishes the front of his face and accentuates this largeness of his head as well as his second chin. The stylization here is a lot more purposeful. It's not just stylization for the sake of stylization. And I tried to really carry that into these other drawings as well. So this one, for example, I really wanted to emphasize the roundness, and to accentuate that, I shrunk her facial features down inwards a little bit. Coming over to this one here, I wanted to really capture this expression and this powerful shape of the mouth. And I do think this one works really well. There's a lot of life to this character. This man here is going to be a lot more rugged. He's got much more angular shapes in his face, and there's a level of hardness to this character that I think you can tell from the stylization as well. So I think this page worked really well, and I really wanted to carry this momentum forward with another practice sheet. Onto the next sheet, you can see I don't know. I think this drawing here on the right, it's got to be my favorite drawing by far. The middle one's okay. The one on the left, I think I focused too much on the expression and less so on the stylization. I feel like the proportions and the shapes that I used here were a little bit less purposeful when compared especially to the other two portraits on this page. So that was the final sheet of practice that I did, and there's definitely a lot of room still for growth. And I'm going to try to keep this up. I'm going to try to do a little bit of practice every single day just to, get my brain going, make it a little bit more challenging for myself. But if you guys want to do this yourselves, you want to do some kind of practice similar to this, you don't have to focus on stylization. You don't have to do what I've done here. You guys can pick something else that you're interested in. Maybe it's expressions. Maybe it's anatomy. Whatever the case, pick a subject you want to focus on and be very mindful of what you like and what you don't like about your drawings as you're drawing them, so that during the duration of your practice, you can kind of pivot in different directions to meet your own needs. And if you are truly a freshly born, a new art baby, you're slimy like a tadpole, there are a couple things here that I think can help you out. For the tiny babies out there, okay, this is how I like to construct my heads. We'll start with an oval shape, okay.
If I ever go Caliban and cop 39s and cock back and kill. See, the truth is, they wanna know how close me, Dre, and Snoop is. So how the shoe fits when they choose this to be Tupac. But truth, I give two shits bots. Expectations of critics hating shit. I just put my...
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Are you serious right now? Stop that. God, I've had it with these burps. Practice, you can kind of pivot in different directions to meet your own needs. And if you are truly a freshly born, a new art baby, you're slimy like a tadpole, there are a couple things here that I think can help you out. For the tiny babies out there, okay, this is how I like to construct my heads. We'll start with an oval shape, okay, find the center line, coming down, shield for the front of the face, that's the shape of your head. You're gonna see a lot of other artists do this as well. This is just one of my favorite methods. It's always worked for me. Find that center line, find the shield shape, and that'll be the front of your face. So always be aware of this round shape for the top of this cranium, because this is where your brain's gonna go. I see too many people draw their characters with just the face, and the top of the head, looks like that. And it's like, dude, what is, are you drawing the Easter Island statues? If you want a drawing to be a little bit more believable, you want to draw a little bit more accurately, you want to give your characters a good old big cranium. Boom. Some other things to keep in mind as you're practicing is, let's say you've drawn a absolutely beautiful eye, and now you're freaking out, you're panicking, you're like, what do I do for the next one? Well, first of all, you shouldn't have done this in the first place. But if you did, okay, just measure the length of this eye over here, and that's going to be the start of the corner of the other eye. Now we're going to take the length of this eye and move it over, and the length of the other eye should be equal to the length of this eye. You can draw some lines here to support where the top and bottom lid would be, and you should be able to mimic the other eye. What I don't want you guys to do in this case is use the symmetry tool, okay? Never use your symmetry tool. I want you to actually practice trying to make facial features symmetrical. It's a good skill to have. And because our brain is so good at recognizing human faces, if you do use the symmetry tool, it creates such a stiff look that it's not even believable. Okay, so please Don't do that. This is only your last resort though. If you are going to draw eyes, I recommend finding an eye line here, okay? And then just drawing your eyes one at a time. If you're going to draw the upper lid, draw the upper lid on the other eye. If you're going to draw the iris, draw the iris in the other eye. If you're going to shade the iris in the other eye. Now, if you're going to draw the double eyelid here, also draw it on the other eye. So you're kind of just moving between these two at the same time, and this is one of the best ways that I find to make your eyes look consistent on your characters. Other things to keep in mind as you're drawing in your sketchbook is to avoid chicken scratching your lines. Try to make it as purposeful as you can. You know, you can practice this in your own sketchbook. Now, I personally love drawing messy. All of my lines are messy. I never have super clean lines where it's just one single smooth flowing line. That's not really how I work. So you gotta figure out how you like to work. The best way to do that, again, is just with a lot of repetition. And one final thought that I want to leave you guys with is to just not butt your head into a brick wall, both figuratively and literally. Do not do that. Maybe you want to learn muscles, but you don't want to just sit down and slog through hundreds of Pinterest references of muscular men. But think of ways to make it fun. You know, maybe instead of just random muscles, go find that one dude in the K-drama who's just ripped and just draw pictures of him non-stop because you love him and you're obsessed. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to draw portraits, but you just can't find the motivation to sit down and draw a bunch of portraits. That's fine. Go find that one character that you really loved from your favorite anime or your favorite movie. Try to draw them. You know, make it fun for yourself. Do something that you're genuinely passionate about. I think that's the most important. At the end of the day, you gotta enjoy it. And if you're not already drawing right now, close YouTube down. Stop it, okay? Pick up a pencil. What are we waiting for here? You want me to come over there and destroy you? What is it? Just do it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I hope it was insightful. I hope it was helpful. And now it's up to you to make some beautiful drawings or drawings that look like poo, you know, whatever floats your boat. But remember, you never have the masterpieces without the poo. Every single masterpiece that you see is built up on a mountain of poo. Remember that. I'm serious. Oh, would you stop it?
Love this guy. So
2012, my world ended. Used to say that I could see the future. You was wrong, cause you was in it.
Apparently it's wrong to have good posture now. Alright. I'm gonna do the rest of this video like this. 10 out of 10. Oh, wait a minute. You look so nice today. Alright, I'm sorry for touching you. Alright, put on your seatbelt, guys. We're gonna be taking a look at some art tutorials on TikTok.
Stop drawing eyes from a three-quarter perspective like this. To be honest, this has to be one of the hardest angles to draw eyes from. Like, just look at these eyes. They don't really look that bad, but they don't really look that good either. So instead, you're gonna want to do this. Start off with a slightly curved line for the top of the eye. Then instead of doing the full shape of the eye, what you're gonna want to do is use a straight line for the far side of the eye. You have to remember that the eye wraps around the face. So from this angle, we don't see the far corner of the eye.
That's good. This is very good. For those wondering why you don't see the full shape of the eye when you're viewing from this angle, it's because the eyeball is round and your eyelids are going to naturally wrap around the round shape of this eyeball. So as you turn your head, you see less of the far side of the eye, which is why it gets a little bit more squished. It's smaller, like your brain. 10 out of 10. People in the comments are saying those are two different angles. Stop it. Seek medical assistance. Yes, the angle's not a perfect one-to-one match, but the lesson still applies, okay? Don't be so technical, don't be so anal. Some things are not meant to go. Stop it. And then there's this. What pencil do you use? What pencil? I want one, please. What pencil do you use for drawing? What kind of paper is that? Oh, not the tools, guys. It's the artist. You know what? I should make a video roasting these TikTok comments because y'all have been getting away with these for far too long. How I shade portraits. First, shade the face using a light pencil. 2B. Smudge it. Erase the highlights and use triangular shape to it. Okay. Make the outline sketch. Oh. That was it? That was it? Hatching technique for the final touch. Why do I feel like from here to here, we might have missed a step or two? 7 out of 10.
So this is a traditional 5-point perspective drawing. And this is the kind
I thought there were only 3.
of POV drawing I do more often, which actually isn't a 5-point perspective drawing. I only really utilize 4 vanishing points, and I omit the top one. I'm going to show you how to do a 5-point perspective and then how to do a 4-point perspective. To start your 5-point, draw a cross with the vertical and horizontal line the same length. The middle point is your central vanishing point. The top and bottom are your zenith and nadir vanishing points respectively, and the left and right are your left and right vanishing points. Then draw a circle all the way around.
So you're telling me top and bottom is called Zenith and Darth Vader, and left and right is just called left and right? What the f?
Then draw radiating lines from the center vanishing point, and then draw arcs from the top to the bottom vanishing point to the right and left of the center line. Similarly, draw arcs from the left to the right vanishing point above and below the horizon. That's your grid. From here, it's fairly easy to plug in your space. Just use the grid lines as cues for what direction your lines should go.
That's so sick. I mean, I've done fisheye perspective before, but this is the first time that I'm actually learning about the more technical side of it.
And when I make a POV sketch, I omit the top vanishing point. Instead, I make a horizon. Fairly easy to plug in your space. Just use the grid lines as cues for what direction your lines should go.
That's so sick. I mean, I've done fisheye perspective before, but this is the first time that I'm actually learning about the more technical side of it.
And when I make a POV sketch, I omit the top vanishing point. Instead, I make a horizon that's actually a little bit longer than the vertical center line. I draw the same radiating lines from the center vanishing point. Then I draw arcs from the left vanishing point to the right, above and below the horizon. But instead of arcs from the top vanishing point to the bottom vanishing point, I draw an upside down umbrella, so it's sort of open-ended at the top.
Oh.
And then plug in the information, the visual information, the same as before, using the grid as a guide. The difference now, though, is that after omitting that top vanishing point, I have a much more dynamic space. It feels like the space is sort of zooming out to meet the viewer, and you really feel immersed, almost enveloped in that space. It's a much more dynamic perspective, in my opinion. So that's why I do my POV drawings the way that I do.
Your POV drawings are nuts. You, Paul Heasted, you are a nutty man. You are absolutely full of nut. Look at this. Oh, fantastic. 10 out of 10. Well, gosh darn it, guys. TikTok's on a roll today.
How can we make this drawing less in need of criticism? This drawing comes to us by way of Marley, Heart Emoticon.
Kenton.
She is sort of stuck on how to improve and that her art needs some criticism. So I'm gonna go ahead and deconstruct this face. We're gonna go ahead and draw that eye line. If we assume that our nose should be about halfway between the eyes and the chin, and the mouth halfway again, we'll see that the lower two facial features are quite low. Not only that, but the eyes are a little bit too close together. If we trace a line up from the corner of each nostril, it should hit the inside of the eye. We can see it hits the inner eye as opposed to this outer edge.
So I'm gonna pause that right there before I lose this thought, but I think this is doing too much. If you're looking for proportions, find the hairline, the brow line, the nose, and the chin. And as soon as you have those, you're gonna have the three most important portions of the face. And on a normal person, those three sections are gonna be equal in length. But if you wanted to stylize your characters, you could also expand the length of certain portions to make them look more exaggerated.
Alright, so here I've normalized the facial features just a little bit while maintaining that unique facial structure. I've also introduced a positive canthal tilt.
So this, I think, is a problem with people correcting people's art without a reference. And I'm guilty of this too, but we've all learned. I think the shape of the eyes was fine. If you wanted to really just bring things back into proportion, the only thing I would do is just move the eyebrows and the eyes down a little bit so that the three equal portions of the face are relatively proportional. But again, this is hard to do without a reference because you don't know what the original person looked like. I don't think it's necessary to make the eyes rounded instead of keeping the original shape, because at this point you're just changing the style. You Sam does artified her. When your style is so recognizable that you become a verb.
Yo, today you draw with me, so grab a sheet and a pen and let's go. So today we're gonna draw a skeleton skull, and you'll see it's kind of super simple to draw. So getting started is easy. We start to make a rectangle in perspective, and then the two
Is that a box?
visible faces, you will separate them equally with lines. That's how it is. Then we just draw a kind of circle inside the box, and another on the side that will serve us roughly as a marker for the skull. Then we make another one above, and then we just draw this line, which passes right in the middle. And after that, you will place the two small lines, which will be used to place the jaw for the moment we get that. And we're going to move on to serious jumps there. I added a few small shadows, and then you do the eyes, try to give a depth effect, because that we made a head of three car faces after you go to the cheekbones and the top of the skull. I hope it's clear enough what I'm showing, and now we're tackling the jawline. Remember to draw the line to separate, to know where do we place the teeth here, and then you are just going to place a line above a line below, and then there is only to draw the teeth. Hop, 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 nickel. And now we have about finished the drawing.
It's not bad. But you see, here's the skull of my enemy. And What happened to your jaw? Okay, technical difficulties. Just comparing the two, if you're looking at a skull from a 3/4 angle like this, you see this jawbone right here? Unless you're built like a Lego minifigure, your jaw doesn't go that far back, okay? So on this skull, if you just push the jaw forward a little bit, you're gonna have a nearly perfect skull. And that was a pretty good process for having started with a box. 8 out of 10. How I draw fire, in case you guys were wondering how to draw fire. Draw a shape LOL. Great start. Erase the edges with circle-like shapes, okay? So this is a method of reduction, I like that. Darken the tips. In this case, they use an orange color, okay, that's good. Some brighter color inside. This is very important for getting that glowing look in a flame. And then brighter inside plus slightly darker edges, okay, good. Little fiery things to make it look alive, good. Overlay with red/orange/yellow as preferred, very good. And optional blue overlay, that's interesting. This is great, this is very reliable. Whenever you want to draw something that's glowing, just make it bright as possible on the inside and make it fade out. This final slide is so interesting to me because blue and orange are complementary colors. And by adding a blue glow, what you're doing is you're adding a complementary color that creates even more contrast. So it makes that center point look like it's glowing a little bit more. Just an interesting color theory concept. If you want to learn more about color theory, I have a tutorial on just that topic on my Patreon this month. For all the babies, we got another one of these guys, Art Tips for Drawing Part 3. Good. This one means to pay attention to your perspectives and stop running from your hand responsibilities. Beginner mistake. Right. Traps. Important. Remember that. Apparently it's wrong to have good posture now. Alright. I'm gonna do the rest of this video like this. 10 out of 10.
It's one thing to know how to draw a building from scratch on an open plane of nothing. But what if you want to integrate it within a landscape in a dynamic way? Well, let's look at a riverside. And what do you know? A water mill. Coexisting with natural forces, allowing you to construct such marvelous mechanical structures. Another one is a narrow valley. Well, how about we bridge the gap with a building atop, like a roadside tavern, or in this case, a bridge-top saloon. And with the winds flowing steady through this valley, how about adding a windmill or two? Okay, maybe one more. A rock face. Fairly bland, you might think, but whoa! What's this? An inner structure carved inside and out as a hall of wonders.
This is so good, man. I love the creativity here. How to cross-hatch like these instead of like this. Oh. Drawing the outlines first, basic guidelines of the face contours. Oh, I see what you're doing here. Alright, she looks a little bit like a zombie here, but you know what? It's the thought that counts. Now, I've seen this contour-based cross-hatching technique before, which is very cool, and when it's applied correctly, like on the eyes here, it's really fantastic. Basically, this just means that if you look at a surface like this, you want to trace your hatches based on the curvature of that surface. So any round surfaces like the side of my face here, you're going to cross hatch this way and not the other way. Really cool. Execution could have been better, but 8 out of 10. Good job.
Most people fail to turn their rough sketch into a realistic portrait for one simple reason. They don't realize that we can't see outlines on human faces, so your sketch will keep changing. This is why from now on we need to work on the portrait as a whole and not just individual features like the eyes.
Shading your portrait adds volume to the sketch, which then makes your mistakes obvious and easy to fix. And if you struggle to shade your values correctly, edit your reference to black and white. Then start by shading the darkest areas, which add contrast so that your drawing doesn't look flat. I use soft pencils without pressing hard. And only later I start using harder pencils to add smoothness to the face. And for the hair, shape your eraser like this so you can make sharp highlights which look like individual hairs.
Jeez, that looks good. So she makes a really good point about not being able to see people in outlines. I mean, any sketch you draw is going to consist of lines, but those lines are going to start taking on a different look when you start adding volume and shading to them. So I guess just to mirror this point, I also want to add that you don't want to be too tied down to your sketches. Don't get emotionally attached to those lines. Keep them nice and light, because when you're shading on paper, they're going to be changing all the time. Good job, 8 out of 10. How to color skin anime. Okay. Do that and don't draw black people. What the? You're adding brown? Oh dear. Oh, where's this going? The bottom one looks better. What are we talking about here? What? Not gonna lie, I thought you were talking about black people at first. You had me in the first half. For that, I'm gonna give you a 1 out of 10.
Why would you dive straight into a drawing with pen? I get asked this question all the time while I'm working on location, because normally starting with a pencil is how you avoid making mistakes, right?
True.
But the way I see it is that there are two values. The first is accuracy, which has to do with how realistic your drawing looks compared to real life. But the second is story, which has to do with your interpretation of what it's like to be there in person. So today I'm on 42nd Street standing in front of the library, and there's the shuffle of this to be there in person. So today I'm on 42nd Street standing in front of the library, and there's this shuffle of the street that I'm trying to compete against. And so in a way, working with my mistakes rather than trying to hide all of them is going to add a sense of authenticity. It's going to say, hey, I was actually here and I just went for it. And it's this quality that I love sharing the most with other people because it adds a flexibility as to what it means to capture an event, a location, or an experience. In the end, your work doesn't necessarily need to be perfect.
Yes.
It just needs to be honest.
Oh, I love it. You take that message, you take your ear holes, and you shove it in there, all right? It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. Just be authentic. You know what? In fact, it's impossible not to make any mistakes in your work unless you're like, art god. I make mistakes in my work all the time. None of it is perfect, but that's what makes your work uniquely yours. All right, so own up to that. Make mistakes. Like Bob Ross once said, happy little accidents. All right, and if you made it all the way here, thank you for going on this adventure with me to the depths of TikTok. We've had some really good tutorials today, surprisingly. So to the TikTok creators, good job, guys. Keep it up. And to you guys watching this video, if you have yet to subscribe, oh jeez, what are you waiting for? You want to end up like this? Because I'll make it happen. That's it. Check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials and process videos, and I also have a bunch of wallpapers on there for you guys to make your phones look Sam Does Artified. Caught a cold, guys. I've been trying to recover from a cold for the last week. That last video that I put up was shot like 3 weeks ago because I've been out. That cold just took me, headlocked me, gave me an elbow to the face, and just y'all stay safe, stay healthy out there, all right? Oh, throat's deformed. What do you do for cats? Oh, Jesus. Are you kidding me, dude? You blinked. I got you. Oh, how the tables turn. Look at me. Look into my eyes. I'm the jump scarer now. I look a little burnt today, huh? Stayed out in the sun too long. That's an L. Speaking of L's, I'm about to take another one. Let's open our minds, dive through some TikTok art tutorials today, and see if we can't learn something new. Hair tutorial. My God, that is nice hair. Oh, so oily. All oiled up. You can imagine these lines. It means the main hair. For me, it makes everything much easier. All right. I get what you mean. Use this pencil to make everything smooth and clean. Okay, I gotta pause these because it's going too fast. That is a 10B pencil. Bro, that is dark as hell. Start from the easiest part. Okay, just make everything black. Never done this before, try practicing. It's okay if you end up with uneven and unsharp lines. Layer them every time. Don't try to get everything perfect from the first stroke. Do gray, then dark gray, then all dark. That's a very good piece of advice for pencil. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, it's so, why is bro all oiled up? I just got one question. What shampoo do you use? That's crazy. I think the key here to understand that even though you're shading in individual strokes with a pencil, it's still important to think of the hair as an overall shape. I always say this, but hair becomes so much easier to draw if you manage to figure out the entire shape as opposed to individual strands. And that streak of highlight, chef's kiss, beautiful, 10 out of 10. Let me just slow it down a little bit next time. I can't read. Take it easy for us artists. We are illiterate. How to sketch faces from references level 1 for beginners, okay? Okay. Oh, no. Oh! Are you kidding me, dude? Look, the grid might be good if you're trying to get something down on paper relatively accurately, but at this point, you might as well just trace over it and try to understand the proportions by doing that. I think for me, in my experience, when I've learned the most is when I've actually had a reference and I try to copy that face on paper by observing not a grid, but the relationships between the various elements on the face. So for example, how wide is the nose in comparison to the gap between your eyes? How much space does your chin take up in relation to the rest of your face? Things like that, you know, because no matter what face you're going to be looking at in the future that you're trying to draw, those measurements are always going to be there. But a grid is not. If you're measuring from a grid, you're going to have to use that grid to measure every single time. Sure, it's going to make that one accurate drawing for you, but long term, it's like stocks. No grid, this is your trajectory. With grid, this is your trajectory. All right, 3 out of 10. God. All right, next up, we've got some tips for drawing backgrounds. This is for all you guys out there who love to run from your background responsibilities. So, what in the world? Are you kidding me, man? So you guys see this red line here in the middle? This is called the horizon line, okay? It's exactly as the name says, it's where the horizon is. And this tip is saying that you want to put the heads above the horizon line and you don't want to put the heads below the horizon line, which in a normal composition might be okay to have your character in the middle of the frame. But the one on the right is not wrong, okay? It's just a different angle, just a different perspective. Stop. Just make it look nice. Compositions. Are you... So let me just do your job and explain why these work, okay? So the first one here is rule of thirds. You divide the canvas into equal thirds horizontally and vertically, and on the points where the lines intersect, that's one of your focal points. You can put something of interest there. And this one I don't like very much, but it's the triangle. 3 things that your eyes can bounce between. It's pretty arbitrary. I don't like it. Bottom left here, this is a rule of thirds as well. Very simple. This is a diagonal composition. Okay, so whenever you have lines drawing your eyes from one corner to the other corner, it's nice. Again, another triangle. Useless. Sorry, Ethan. And finally, the golden ratio, or as I'd like to call it, the useless snail. And last but not least, well, what is this caption? Shading the right places is important. That's not what this image is about at all. These are called tangents. So just for example, a tangent happens when a foreground subject comes into contact with a background object. So if I put my face like right here, see that corner of the table right there? Oh, now we've made a tangent. But if I were to overlap my face, now you get a very distinct separation between the foreground and the background. Or if I just move my face away from that point, again, foreground, background. But if I touch it, oh, so uncomfortable. Oh yeah, pointy. Ooh. 1 out of 10. Ah, yes. Kara Gambar Kek Gini Ikuti Step by Step Nya. I don't speak your language, but I felt the energy there. 10 out of 10.
Top drawing heads from a top view like this. Bro, this just looks like a normal head and it doesn't even look like it's from a top view. So instead, you're gonna want to do this. Start off with a simple circle and a straight line down the middle. Now for the jawline, make it thinner than usual. Now use a half circle shape so you know where the eyes go. Next, you're gonna want to make the top of the head bigger than usual. Now for the top of the eyes, make them straight, and for the bottom of the eyes, curve them. And draw an upside down triangle for the nose. And now make sure to place the ears higher than usual because of the angle. And now start the shoulders halfway down the jawline and you're done. Bro, this actually looks like it's from the top view. So now you won't have difficulty drawing from this angle.
I didn't think it was going to be good because of the way you were talking to me, but it's good. Good job. You got all the right points. Ears up, eyes curve down, nose gets lower, jaw gets thinner. You got it, man. You got it. 10 out of 10, bro. Stop it. Struggling with lips? Which ones? God damn. If your reference is on paper and can't draw on it, you can use Makeup Feature or your phone or an editing app to draw. Don't do that.
I just got the joke.
Put your phone down. Pencil and paper, please. Oh my god. Kids nowadays, man, glued to their iPads. Using a guideline in the middle of the mouth, draw a similar line before, but higher in the middle. Okay, I see you. I see you. You got that little seagull shape for the top lip. Fill in the lips lightly for a natural look. You can do darker. The lips are a darker color. Oh. Ooh. 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 Oh. It's a little bit undercooked, but you know, we got the spirit, man. We got the spirit. Usually when you look at somebody's lips, okay, there's not gonna be a super hard line defining where the lip starts and ends, okay? Especially in different lighting scenarios, you might get a really soft fade from the fleshy tissue of your lip to the skin on your face. So you see this bottom lip right here, this line right here, it's a little bit too harsh. If you could just soften that bottom edge up even more, it's gonna make your lip look instantly so much more believable. Okay, try it yourself. Do it right now. Pause this video. I'm watching you. Pause. Did you do it? I know you didn't do it. It's okay. You're on the toilet. 6 out of 10. And can you draw a little bit bigger next time? It's so small, it's tiny. Look, I know you're trying to make it relatable to us, but how to draw a poussée? Oh, can't say that. Start with the basic shapes. Most cats have the same face structure. That's racist. Draw a triangle nose around the middle of the chin circle. Okay, so it's kind of like drawing a human face almost. And eyes should be spaced evenly with one length apart. Okay. Draw a little black triangle. Okay. Refine the shape a little bit. I don't know about you, but this cat's looking a little bit crooked. Oh, it's definitely crooked. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's getting worse. Oh my god. That's not a cat. Man, that's what I see in my nightmares. What the hell? What in the world? What the hell is even that? I need to find me another cat tutorial. I still don't know how to draw cats. Oh, how I draw wavy hair. A messy warm-up sketch. That is very satisfying. And the lead is so dark. Oh, guys. What the? Look at that. Oh, that's crazy. It's like the lead comes straight out of the pencil like the color of my soul. Okay, this is for my old school, analog, traditional artists out there. What kind of lead do you guys use? Are you playing it safe with the 2B and the HB, or are you going to like 8B, 7B, 9B? Nose toot. There's no... What? Okay. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. There's literally no nose there to toot. How to lazily draw hair. Okay, there's no audio on this, but get a dark pencil. 8B? That's like charcoal. That's dark. That's like when you leave the chicken in the oven for 3 hours. Dude, the silence is killing me right now, but oh my god. Kind of looks like Smeagol when he was about to turn into Gollum. You know what? You did say lazily draw hair, and it was done very lazily. 10 out of 10. I need expensive art materials to be a good artist. My honest reaction. I mean, God, that is a dark pencil. Another one. This is a universe telling me to try something above 2B. I might just do that because this is a beautiful drawing, man. This is amazing. I'm going to give you a 10 out of 10 for the message of this video because you definitely don't need expensive art materials to make good art. Literally, if you have a pencil, you have a piece of paper, you can make great art. And I'm sure if I would hand a cheap $2 pencil to somebody like Gouache and told him to just draw on the wall over there, I'm sure he would make an absolute masterpiece. The equipment helps, it's a factor, but it's not the end all be all. Believe in yourself. And you know what? I also feel like there might be a lot of babies out there who might be watching this video who talk themselves out of things. You know the thought that you might have where you see an artist using a huge drawing tablet and a crazy setup and you're just like, yeah, I don't think I'll be able to draw as good as they do. Look at all the stuff they've got. I can't do that. Wrong, man. That's so wrong. Look, if you don't shut your lips right now, I'm gonna shove a pencil so far up your ear hole. If you build up your drawing skill set, if you study, you put in the work, you can do it. Okay? You can do it on a cheaper tablet. You can do it on a smaller screen. Don't you ever talk yourself out of making a great drawing. There's tiny little 12-year-olds out there drawing masterpieces on paper, okay? Are you gonna let the little 12-year-old win? Or are you gonna grab them by the neck and steal their skulls? Alright, that's my motivation to you today. Stay hard. My art when I was 12. Bro, see, what did I just say? What did I just say? Look at this, pencil on paper. Oh my god, that's crazy. Half of my sketchbook now at 16. Oh, jeez. Oh. Well, bro is lying. You know what? I don't believe it. Bro's probably lying. Now, just to provide something actually that might be useful to you guys, if you're going through the same phase, the same teenage phase of art, I want you to notice the difference here between these pieces and these ones. Aside from these ones being, you know, not the best to look at. See, if you look at all these pieces before, they were all done in a relatively realistic fashion, and this is not realistic. So if you watching this are going through this exact thing right now, which I'll believe it, I think a lot of people go through this, it's just a transformation of your style. You haven't actually mastered this new style yet, so this new style, when you draw it, looks like poo. That's perfectly fine. We all produce poo on a daily basis, drawing heads. What is it with you guys in head? Not bad, you know, it's a little bit front facing, but not bad, not bad. Front view, all right, there's a front view. Looking back, what do you mean by looking back? How does this work? Oh my god. You broke his neck? Oh my god, we gotta go back. Oh, bro's deformed. Look, this shouldn't be hard, okay? Look at me. 3/4. See the neck, it comes down from just below the chin and then just below the ear, right? Just a little bit behind the jawline right there. Take note of that. Now I'm gonna look back at you. All right, so I'm gonna face this way and I'm gonna just look back at you and look at my neck in relation to my head. You know how you can tell someone's looking back at you? It's not by the position of your neck, but by the position of the shoulder. But if you put the shoulder here, now I'm just at a square 3/4 view. Forward, back. Neck, stay. Neck don't go back, okay? Neck don't move like that. We are not flamingos. This is a 5 out of 10. How to draw a cat? Oh, God has answered my call. Hopefully I know how to draw a cat after this. Okay, same thing. Ah, so there's like a second round shape for the face. Okay, I see that. Little angry eyebrows, little triangle nose here. All right. Ooh. Oh my God, so cute. He's so fluffy. You just want to pinch him. Oh, I love that. Look at you. Who's a good boy? Sorry, that's for dog now. What do you do for cats? Ooh, Jesus. Now that's a good cat tutorial. I feel like I've actually learned from this. 10 out of 10. Good to end on a high note here. Listen, man, if you learned something from this video, good for you. Consider liking and subscribing, and I'll take that as a sign to keep making YouTube videos. My art book is out. I have them on my hand. They look amazing. And that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say. No, one more thing. I love you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Okay, now that all the fake fans are gone, guys, I gotta show you this. So if you guys happen to be in Toronto or in the area around Toronto, on September 14th and 15th, 2024, I'm going to be at OCAD University. There's going to be a big art festival, lots of very, very amazing artists there, and everyone's going to be selling some prints, some merch, and you can feel free to come out and support us. And you can also say hi to me and come hang out, because I've just prepared some stickers. Sleeping cat and burp. I'm actually really proud of these. I love this one. Look, it's an art baby cat. It's you guys. Look at this art baby hamster. I'm probably just gonna print like 50 each. So first come, first serve. Come grab your stickers. Come say hi to me. And we did a bit of this last year, but if you show up and you tell me that you came from this video, this specific video, I'll give you a free sticker. How about that? Please come hang out.
Oh shit.
What the?
Oh.
Good lord, what did I tell you about sneaking up on me like that? You could have killed me. Alright guys, buckle up and join me on an adventure to go find some TikTok art tutorials that are actually good. I'm ready to lose a little bit more of my sanity.
When you're drawing faces, you have to remember this trick. Start by drawing a simple circle. Now draw a line down the middle of it. Now draw two horizontal lines so you know where to put the eye. Then use two curved lines for the jawline. Add a line at the bottom of the circle for the nose. Now use two oval shapes for the ears and a simple V shape for the neck. These are simple guidelines that'll help you whenever you're drawing any sort of face.
Okay, well, to my surprise, that was actually not that bad. This is actually a really good way to begin your face drawing. And if you've watched my face drawing tutorial, I do something very similar to this. So this is great. This is fantastic. 3 out of 10.
What is an eye? Well, let's take a sphere and add an iris and pupil, which if you look at the side could fit 5 more times around the eyeball's circumference. Now you fold the upper and the lower eyelid over the eye like so, and just as a reference, here's the top view of how much it folds over. Now, as for the surrounding areas, we can break these down into the upper eye bag that forms a soft, squishy pillow of sorts, and the lower, slightly lesser flesh bit. Now, depending on your character, these can be very different. If the eyebrows are very large and in charge, or petite, or the nose having to be very wide, all these things manipulate the surrounding eye area by pushing and pulling on these fleshy parts.
Oh, it's good. This is a great explanation for the eye. You've always got to remember that the eyes are balls. We all got these two little balls just spinning around in our head. I especially love that top-down view of the eyelid wrapping over the eyeball. You always got to remember that, man. That's a 10 out of 10. Great job. I'm so happy right now.
If you want to make a portrait with a limited palette, one of the best choices to make would be taking two colors that are opposite to each other on the color wheel. When such colors mix together, they perform grayish tones, and those are the perfect transition colors for a portrait. For a portrait to look convincing, we need grace. The colors opposite to each other give this grace naturally during the painting process.
I mean, I like it, but I thought you were going to go somewhere else with this. I thought you were going to say that two opposite colors are going to be complementary colors, so they actually work really well in terms of color harmony. But you pulled the rug from under me and you just said great. But the point is still very valid. If you want two colors of the opposite ends to merge into each other, you have to go into the grays. If you don't desaturate, it's hard to blend colors together, and if you end up going around the whole rainbow instead of desaturating, your character's face is going to look like a pride parade. 7 out of 10. How to make an attractive watercolor. Okay, take sketchbook. Choose your liner pen. Start to draw quickly forms. Okay, so the prerequisite is that you have to know how to draw first. Add some details. Use a good watercolor. What is a good watercolor? Oh. Skip the precision. I like that. Holy Christ, that's a very solid 8 out of 10. If you already know how to draw, you'll do great with this tutorial, but if you don't, Good luck.
I call it the alligator method.
Oh, Toronto, Canada? A fellow artist from Toronto? Alright, okay. This tutorial better be good because if it's not, you're within my immediate vicinity and I will confine you and will destroy you. That is a threat, that is a promise.
We're going to start by creating a little cabin shape on the right hand side of the page. The mouth of the alligator extends like a sideways triangle towards the left hand side of the page. It's effectively creating visual patterns that lead us towards the central cabin. Drawing these trees, you want to make sure they're really straggly and uneven. And the same goes with the grass that can line the steps leading away from the cabin. By adding squiggly, short, vertical lines, you can make it look like there's grass beside the steps. Now that the trees and the grass and steps have kind of guided the eye back towards the cabin, we can add some interesting details on the cabin itself. Short, squiggly lines stand in its grass, and there we have the composition.
Wow, okay, I really didn't think this was going to turn out good. I thought I was going to have to confine you and take your skull. Good job, Sam. Well done. Next time, though, I want you to take your camera, okay, and you put that baby in manual focus because it seems to be more interested in showing your hand hairs to me than your actual drawing. 10 out of 10.
You can draw this tree with simple steps. Start by sketching a big circle to simplify the tree's form. Follow the shape letter Y to draw the tree trunk. Break down the form by drawing some circles. Roughly go over each circle with squiggly lines to create organic shapes. Grab a pen to draw these loops to mimic the shape of the tree leaves. Avoid making them too repetitive. Draw a simple background and rocks around.
Oh my.
Choose the light source. Here the light source is coming from the upper left. Grab your markers. Begin by using the lightest color to fill in the tree. Start with light pressure and draw fast to create a lighter shade. Next, increase the pressure and layer more ink on the lower right side of each column. We don't need to worry about adding details to a background. Draw some strokes like this to add texture. Use darker shade of green to add dark values to increase depth. Use a third shade of green to enhance the contrast between the light and dark values. Draw some diagonal strokes for the grass around. Now you have a nice tree.
Bruh, nice tree is an understatement. That is beautiful. Oh my god, it looks more tree-like than trees I see in real life. This is like the most tree-looking tree that I've ever treed. Would you give it a tree? Yeah, I'll tree it. 10 out of 10. God, that's amazing. You're making me want to get some markers. You're making me want to scratch my marker itch. Should I do it, guys? Should I be financially irresponsible and invest in markers? Simple things to draw when bored. Bored? Bored? God, the education system's failing us. What is that? What is that? It's looking a little bit sus. Oh, it's a ghost. Okay. Alright. Happy Halloween. Simple ghost. 1 out of 10. Stay in school. How I draw faces. That is beautiful. Okay. I want to see this process. Oh my goodness. That is... wow. Oh, wow. That scratches a little artistic part of my brain. Art exercises for beginners. Let's see if the kids are being put on the right stuff. Drawing with and without guidelines. That's a nice drawing, but what are we doing here? Oh, and then you try to do it without guidelines? Okay, I see. Alright. I love how the one you did without guidelines looks better than the one you did with guidelines. Now, is this exercise useful at all? Absolutely not. I'm just kidding. There is some use to this. If you're a beginner and you just happen to find yourself constantly drawing with guidelines, trying to draw without the guidelines is a good way to test yourself on how much you remember. So it can be useful. That's a 7 out of 10 because you didn't explain why. No one ever says why on TikTok. Common drawing mistakes. Number 1, feathering. I usually call this chicken scratching, but feathering sounds so much more distinguished. Instead, what do we do? What do we do instead? Long strokes, okay, good idea. Okay, start light, good idea. Plan out the line, yes. You want to try not to repeat the same stroke way too many times. Inconsistent shading, no gradients. Okay, what does this mean? Oh boy, stop. It's already dead. Stop it, stop it. Don't, oh Jesus. Separate shadow and light. That's a great idea. Boy, that is one good looking sphere, man. Wow, that is almost as good looking as your mom. Lines too dark. Looks cartoonish. Yeah, I see. Yep. It's funny because I literally said not to do this in our last face tutorial video. Instead, start light and thin. Yeah, that's always a good idea. Make shadow shapes. Fantastic. Yes. Gorgeous. So you know what I love about this video is that you don't just call out the mistakes, you actually provide solutions. And I can 100% agree with all of these, especially for beginners. This is really, really good advice. 10 out of 10.
This is the easiest way to draw a face in a three-quarter perspective. First a circle as perfect as you can get it, and then a line, and then...
Next.
Hey, I know why. You sketch a circle. Sketch from this to this by line weight. But no, not like that, like this. First, find your light source to determine where your light edges and where your shadows are. This eyebrow on the left, for example, is in shadow, so I'm going to use thicker and darker lines. Keep in mind the direction of the strokes. Tapering them off towards the light source will really make it look dynamic. So don't forget to practice your line weights.
Jesus, that's a 20? Okay, someone's a beast. I think this is actually a great explanation on one of the ways that you can apply line weight. You know, when you're drawing a person, when there's a place where there's a lot of shadow, like for example in the big old nostrils, you can get away with making that line really dark, whereas, you know, some of the other lines, like the silhouette of the face, you might want to keep a little bit lighter. Another place where you can also add heavier lines and thicker lines is in the places where you see lines intersect with each other. Usually in those intersection points, you can add a little blob of darkness. It makes the lines look really fluid, like they kind of blend into each other. It's actually really nice. But hey, 10 out of 10 for the bicep curls. Good job, you keep that up. This is how I draw hair. Ah, smart. Smart. Yeah, this is nice, but I mean, you're not really showing how it's actually done. So for those who are wondering how this is actually being done, you just take a really thin and sharp object and you essentially carve and scar the paper so that when your lead goes over the paper, it doesn't actually apply any darkness to the areas that you've carved out. Okay, so the carved lines appear thin and white. 2 out of 10. I hate it when people don't explain. What the? What the bruh? Why is it so good? You do identify as a mosquito? Urban sketching from home. Oh, I've seen this before. This is cool. This looks really fun, actually. For those of you who don't like to go outside and touch grass, here's a life hack for you guys. That's really nice. Little details. Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. I love the looseness of this drawing, you know, and it's always a fun challenge. You guys should try this out. Urban sketching, very difficult. I've tried it before. We're not going to talk about it. How to draw eye like this. Oh, these are cool. Yeah, I like this kind of style where the eyes sort of blended on the inside. Pupils. Yep, dark on the... Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. I like that style. It's good. It's great. Say 8 out of 10. God. What the? Brother. Oh my God, brother. There was no warning. Oh, God. Dang it, TikTok banned this app. Let me end off on a good one, please.
On a new layer, I select a light color and go down to textures and click this brush. Fill in the entire canvas area.
Whoa.
Then on the layer below that, I select a darker color, kind of within the same hue, and fill the entire area. It locks it all with this, and then I merge the layers together. Then I change the layer mode to overlay and lower the opacity of it to what I like. And that's it.
Whoa.
You can basically do this with any brush you like for interesting textures on your art.
That's actually kind of cool. I might use that. LALALA. There you go. Wow. Okay, 10 out of 10. I actually really like that. Let me try this out. All right, there we go, guys. There's some TikTok art tutorials for today. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, except for that one time that I got flashed. I gotta go watch my eyeballs. Anyways, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content just like this. Check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials and process videos. We actually just put up a new tutorial on how to draw portraits, and we also have some rendering tutorials there as well. I appreciate all your guys' support, and I'll see you guys on the next video with a little bit less of my sanity. And for those wondering, no, I didn't actually eat dog treats in the intro. It was a bean. It wasn't an actual dog treat. Who do you take me for? You think I'm crazy? Oh! Ooh. Ooh.
And just like that, you have another special eyeball.
Do you guys see this? This man is a god. Wait a minute. What's up, guys? Today we're gonna go digging around on TikTok for some more art tips. We're gonna see what good advice we can come across and read through the lies. We're doing this for the art babies who just don't know what's good for them. We're here to help. And this video is brought to you by Squarespace. With that being said though, let's get right into it.
Okay, so common mistakes when drawing the ear. What I see most often from students is that they simply...
Students? My brother, Kenton Scott. You look like a student.
You look at an ear and you say, what's all that nonsense? What's going on? Well, there's not really even that much going on, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure out what to do here. Right about halfway right here, we get a bump like this. Then we get a big swooping line that goes all the way up and around the outside of this form. And then right here in this big space, we get a bubble letter Y.
So that's pretty good. Pretty good simplification. I like that you mentioned the little Y shape the inside of the ear. This is one of the things that I remember about drawing the inside of the ear. It's this little thing right here. See that? It splits into like a little Y. Very good. Good job.
Add blush.
Add blush.
And blend.
And blend. Okay, so this is you know, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 brush strokes, you could also just use an airbrush and use one brush stroke. Why use many strokes when one stroke does trick?
Yo, this technique changed my life. Put one color at the base of your brush, a second color around the tip, and then dip the very top in some white. Then stamp it. And stamp it again, into like a circular pattern. So we've got this succulent ovular shape right now. And we're gonna follow the brush until it's in the second side layer. And then DJ Khaled says another one. Stamp it, another one. So then you have this one. Multiply them into 4, and it's so fast and so easy.
That's kind of sick. Something so simple to make something so beautiful. And it's such an easy process too that I think anybody would be able to do this, which is fantastic. And of course, this is by Sparkit. You guys keep doing what you're doing. This is fantastic. 14-year-olds draw bad. Oh my god, what's going on with the leg? I've been skipping every leg day ever. I mean, you know what? You're 14 years old, you're only in grade 9. You have so much time. You have all the time in the world to try to study and become a doctor instead of an artist. Lazy artist.
Your paint palette like every 5 seconds. You're gonna get some saran wrap, cut a little bit, and blitz your paint palette. Use it like normal. And when you're done, all you do is peel it off, put it away.
Oh.
Instead of using a regular watercolor brush and having to constantly dip it, I'm gonna have you use a water brush. It activates the water on its own, and cleaning this thing is so easy. One eye is beautiful and perfect, and the other one is absolute trash. So scribble on a piece of paper, turn it around, and trace the eyeball you like. Scribble over the newly traced eyeball, flip it over, retrace it, and just like that, you have another symmetrical eyeball.
Here's some words of wisdom for the kids, okay? Sometimes, actually most of the time, the easiest thing to do is not always the right thing to do. Think about the turtles. Think, once again, about Master Wu-Gui. My time has come. Guys, what would Master Wu-Gui think if he saw you doing this? And this eye thing really, here's something that I do when I draw my characters. I think will help you guys out. When you're drawing a portrait, don't draw one eye from start to finish. Draw both eyes at the same time. If you're gonna draw the upper lid on one eye, draw it for the other one as well. If you're gonna draw the iris in one eye, draw it in the other one as well. Do it back and forth. Don't do one thing at a time and then move on to the next, please. Ooh. Wait a minute, that's kind of sick. See guys, this is how you make the most of your mistakes. This is how you turn it into a feature. So creative, so amazing. If only you had another one.
What did they want to see in your illustration portfolio?
This will be good for the kids who are trying to get into university.
The first thing they want to see is that you draw a lot. The best way to show them that you draw a lot is by presenting a sketchbook. In your sketchbook, you're going to want to include a variety of observational drawings. One great tip that I got from my teachers was to draw during my commute. If you normally take the bus or the metro, the train to school, to work, wherever you're going, bring your sketchbook along and just draw what you see. The second thing they want to see is that you want drawing to become your full-time job. You want to make a career out of it. So this is where you include some hand studies, an indoor and outdoor perspective drawing, a drawing where you present in an environment. Number 3 is a letter of intent. In this letter, you're going to have to name some specific goals. And some of you might say, well, you kind of have an idea.
Alright, listen. So I really like your first tip. The sketchbook tip, fantastic. I think everybody could benefit from that. But the second and third, like the hand and feet drawings, that just depends on which program you're applying to, which university you're going to. They're all going to have very different requirements. So for the babies who are looking for, what to put in your portfolios, be sure to check out your university's website and look very closely at what they require, the things they look for. Maybe even talk to people who have gone into the program before and ask them what they put into their portfolio. That's the best way, okay? You got to be very specific, very targeted. This TikTok is not going to help you unless you're going to the same school as her.
Every time I
see a beginner artist like shade their drawings, like, oh, I got my character, I always pick dark purple, and I set the blend over to multiply, and then start shading. It's fine, really. It's fine, I used to do this. There are cases where it does make sense to do this, but a lot of the times people just do this without really knowing why. Look at this photo. The sunlight hitting the sidewalk is tinted yellow because the sun is yellow or something. But why are these shadows blue? It's because the sky is blue, but the sun, the yellow sun, isn't hitting it. This light directly from the light source is called the direct light, and this light that fills the shadows is called the ambient light.
Yes.
You're making your shadows purple, you're applying the ambient light as purple, which can be true. I mean, that's why they say with purple, like, look at the sky, but doing it in daylight might seem a bit off.
Yeah, the overall that's pretty good. I think the video might have aged me like 2 years because it's a little bit too long. If you guys know Marco Bucci, this is something that I've seen him talk about in a video, and he explains it really, really well. The whole concept is the shadow is not the complete absence of light. The shadow reflects the ambient lighting in the environment. So when there's a shadow on a character in a green room, the shadow's gonna appear green. If the room is purple, the shadow's gonna appear purple. I think that's what he was trying to get at, but I don't know why this video went on for so long. Speaking of Marco Bucci, I love this man. He's, wow, fantastic. Let's go. This is gonna be a good lesson.
XP pen. Alright, shading. Shadows. There's two.
Marco Bucci, I love this man. He's, wow, fantastic. Let's go. This is gonna be a good lesson.
XP pen. Alright, shading. Shadows. There's two types of shadow. Form shadow and cast shadow.
Oh yeah.
This is a form shadow. It explains the 3D form of an object by its interaction with the light. Objects are a collection of planes in 3D space. This plane faces away from the light, while these two planes face the light. So we have one plane in shadow. The human head is made of planes too. If I know the light's coming from here, and I know these planes face away from that, I know where the form shadow goes. The shape of the form shadow is just a drawing of the outer edge of those planes. Practice this on simple forms first. Okay, now a cast shadow is slightly different. It occurs when something blocks the light, and you get a corresponding shadow shape projected onto the object. A cast shadow from the nose onto the head retains a nose-like shape. So your first homework is to understand the planes you're dealing with. Then pick a light direction, and I'll start with cast shadows. The protruding brow casts a pretty linear shadow over the eye sockets and cheeks. The nose casts an equally graphic shadow. The lower lip casts a shadow onto the chin, and the whole head casts a shadow onto the neck and torso, wrapping around them as it does. Now let's add form shadows, just filling in those planes that face away from the light. Where your shadows intersect and overlap, let them just meld together. One thing you can do from here, wherever there is a form shadow on a rounder part of the head, like his cheek or chin or even the brow, soften the edge, but keep your cast shadows hard edge.
Wow.
This will give you a nice look.
Wow. Wow.
It's quick. Try another one. Invent a whole different writing setup. Do your homework.
Wow. You guys see this? This man is a god. Now, Marco has a very specific way of explaining things. He's very technical. He's very matter of fact. He gives you all of the points that you need. It might come off as like a little bit overwhelming for someone who's a beginner, but remember, take it one step at a time, okay? Slow it down. Play his videos on 0.5 speed and follow along. Marco Bucci, guys. Amazing. Doodles to master when you're bored. Part 10, wasn't it?
Weapons registered, ready to unload. We don't usually treat them like Harpo. All my bitches in love with the cocoa. Got my side bitch to be Jack Harlow. All my bad hoes bringing that work home straight to my game of chair. 5'9" knocking out hoes as tall as angels. I don't care. Hold on, read my sign. I know I ain't shit. Let's not even go there.
Wow. That's cute. Look at that. Awesome. Good job.
I test for able art as someone that got a 9 at GCSE and an A star A level. Now, what I see a lot of when I look at other tutorials or able art tips videos is the amount of aesthetically pleasing looking sketchbooks. I have said this before for some people. However,
Did I do it? Fuck, did I do it?
painting the backgrounds on your pages in order to be getting top marks, it's unnecessary and time wasting.
I like that. First of all, if you're feeling what she's saying, like you have a sketchbook, but you want to make every single page aesthetically pleasing, that's a mindset that you have to break out of. Just like she said, the sketchbook is a sacred place where you can make mistakes. That's the whole point of it. Beginner tip, throw away your airbrush. Ooh, okay. Instead, block in all your shadows and it goes by too fast. Then take a nice smudge brush and It's important to okay, breathe. Now there is a place in your toolkit for the airbrush for places like applying a soft blush onto the cheek. It's great for that, but like this person said, do not use an airbrush for all of your shading, because then your character is going to look like they're fading away, like they just got snapped by Thanos. Oh, unhelpful tips of how to avoid drawing line art in the sketch layer. Setting a layer as a different color, I don't think is actually going to prevent you from drawing on that layer. I mean, once you're done the rough draft, lock that thing so that you don't accidentally draw on it for your final sketch layer. Oh my god, it's one of these don't undo's. Alright, let's see what this is all about. Okay, pause. You're spending so much time on the don't. I feel like that is your do. Is that your do? What does it do? Oh my god. Oh my god. I knew it! That's very funny, but both of these are don'ts. Fancy. Oh, wow. Yeah, I do like that. The blur brush in Procreate is actually so clutch. Like if your character has like is reaching into the background or something, brush that limb and you're gonna get this crazy depth of field. It'll not only make your drawing look like a cinematic masterpiece, it'll also hide all of your mistakes, of which there are probably plenty.
Taking still photographs, you're like, okay, the picture's about to be taken, and then you stop. That's when becoming fake starts, and that's when acting natural ends. When taking reference, you should film yourself doing an action. You can find the best reference when you're actually doing something.
Yo, Ethan, that was great. I love that. That was fantastic. Now, for those of you who don't know Ethan Becker, first of all, are you hiding under a rock? Second of all, he is an animator, so he is a god when it comes to drawing characters in motion, in all kinds of cinematic angles, and this makes perfect sense, because if you take a video of yourself, you're in motion. You're doing a motion naturally. You're not pausing and acting. Oh no. Oh my goodness. So, TikTok, please, I'm at my wit's end. Disclaimer, grid drawing is a valid method. A lot of people have done it. It does produce accurate drawings. But doing this is not gonna help you. You're not gonna be able to draw things more accurately if you do this every single time. Get your practice in. Please.
Welcome to my series of 1-minute quick tutorials on how to go from this to this.
Ooh.
I've been exhibiting a convention for over 5 years now. Step 1, thumbnail. This is the ugliest sketch I can do using this handy dandy tool in my notes app on my phone. And yes, there's more where that came from. I mean a word. I then switched to the Procreate app on my iPad, taking either the standard 6B pencil or soft airbrush to work out the sketch. It is important for me to start very rough and work out the details in the process. This first sketch is just for figuring out how to illustration. Finally, I have everything I need for the next phase. Follow for part 2.
That's sick. I love this drawing style. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. I'm in love.
This video is for people who draw noses like this. So if you're not a degenerate, keep scrolling. There are 3 parts to drawing a simple, stylized nose. The bridge, the nose tip, and the nostril. And sometimes, the nose bridge and tip will give the most character. Even from the front, I like to separate the two for a more 3-dimensional look. As you rotate the character, make sure the tip protrudes more and more. The nose bridge typically looks the same from the front, but give it a little curvature, and your character instantly becomes top tier. It's important to keep writing in line. Oh, and always use reference.
Good video. Obviously, you don't want to draw your nose just like a straight line, but this is actually a stylized version of the nose. And if you haven't taken some time to at least study a realistic looking nose, you're going to have a harder time wrapping your head around the way the nose is supposed to look in different angles when your head is tilted. Okay? I always recommend before you jump into stylization, try to understand how it actually works in real life. Know the rules before you break them. Otherwise, I'm gonna come over there, I'm gonna break your tablet, I'm gonna break your stylus, I'm gonna punch your grandma.
Alright, tips on how to make your piece more painful.
Painful?
For tears, don't go in with a big, solid streak of white. You actually want to start with the shadow that the tear casts, and then go in with the white highlight, both with a very light hand. Here is another example. Then for tears that gather in the eye, I kind of make those big boulder shapes of the white of the eye, and then go in with a brighter white to highlight and kind of make those brimming shapes.
I don't think I've ever drawn tears, but from what I understand about the way water works, tears are gonna look very different in different types of lighting. Sometimes there's only gonna be bright highlights if your character is in light. But if your character is in shadow, you might not even be able to see it. It'll be invisible. Tears in the rain.
Oh wait, never mind. It's all literally in the back. There's nothing that's gonna pop over it. It's like a black solid.
Okay, so this is just a 30-second video listing all of the fundamentals of art. I mean, it's true, you do need a solid foundation to be able to draw really effectively, but you know.
Art tip number 1. If you ever feel stuck on what to draw or create, take out a blank sheet of paper and whatever art making utensil you have at your disposal and just start drawing literally anything. Tell yourself that you will throw the drawing away when you're done. This could help you draw without any expectations, which may be what is holding you back from your next great idea. You can also do as many of these freestyle illustrations as you need to, and you don't actually have to throw the drawing away. Just keep it.
Wow, I love the sentiment of this video. I mean, nowadays everyone's posting their work, so there's like a subconscious expectation that this should be a really good piece. And oftentimes that pressure makes your piece not as good as it could be. So I do love the sentiment here. Sometimes start a piece without worrying about how it's gonna turn out. Just tell yourself you're gonna throw this away. Take all that pressure off. And next thing you know, you made something beautiful.
Digital art tip no one told you about. Part 3.
No! So that's the after. Now, yes, this method is valid. Putting multiply layer onto a layer underneath is going to create a shadow effect. But as an art baby, as a baby of the art, it's always helpful to try to learn how light actually casts shadows. Like Marco Bucci said, form shadows and cast shadows. Study those. Get that ingrained in your mind. Understand how shadows actually work. Don't take a shortcut. Don't do this. Anyway, so that's it for today's Art Tips on TikTok video. Once again, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Squarespace gives people a beautiful and powerful online platform on which to create their website, connect with their audience, and generate revenue through gated members-only content. Manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. You can create a community on the Squarespace website with a fully integrated content system. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts. And extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. You can also display posts from the social profiles on your website and automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels too. Go to squarespace.com right now for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/SantasArts for 10% off your first purchase of the website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and feeding my village. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you were entertained and learned something new along the way. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next video. Oh my goodness, the sun is out. It's been cloudy all day. And now I'm being blinded. Alright guys, so by now you've probably noticed that this video is a little bit different than my previous videos. And that is because I am working with a new editor. So now I can finally be free from the shackles of YouTube. So if you guys see any new changes in these videos, don't be alarmed. I am not going insane. We just got a new editor on board and I can finally breathe and relax and draw and enjoy my life now. Anyways, thanks again for watching this video and let my editor know that he's doing a good job. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video.
In comes the garrison. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they need to do. Hell, they do. was hoping he would be honest by now, but he isn't. So we're gonna have to, like, I guess, come up the rear with the archers. And just shoot whatever we can. Maybe he'll send units out to get us, but we can also make it back through the castle pretty quickly. So here comes Skullfaker. Well...
No shit.
No, I think this is maybe the safer play. Is he building supplies? Of towers? Okay, here we go. So we're now behind him with all of my arrows. And he's summoning us. Onyx. Archers. Let's take these out. How many does he get of those? It's 3, right? If this works, I'm the greatest to ever do it.
Wait. Why is this a thing?
Usually I have an example for this, but I actually don't remember where I got it from, but just trust me, bro.
Yeah, just trust me, bro.
Clip studio tip of the day, all of these were done with AI, I did not color them.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be looking for more art tips, but this time on Instagram. I was gonna do a TikTok video today, but then I realized, you know what? Instagram has been copying TikTok non-stop with their stupid reels. So today we're gonna show Instagram no mercy.
Okay, so a lot of people have been telling me that my art sucks and that all of my characters are expressionless, so I finally decided to listen to criticism. How you like that, Eater?
That's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. That's the most expressive piece I've ever seen Colleen do. And I think when she says a lot of people have been telling her that her art sucks, a lot of people is referring to me. That's pretty satisfying. Now what you see here is a form of stylization where there's a saturated patch between the shadow and the light. I do this a lot. A lot of other artists who do stylized coloring work also do this. I do it as a stylized form of subsurface scattering, but try it out in your next drawing and see how it works.
Let's talk about even more line art tips.
Line art? Oh, I need help with that.
Once again, focusing on line weight. Let's talk about the principle of gravity. The principle is that as lines are weighed down by gravity, the thicker they get. So for these folds, as the folds get weighed down by gravity, I'm going to thicken the line as we get closer to the base. Usually I have an example for this, but I actually don't remember where I got it from, but just trust me, bro.
Yeah, just trust me, bro. Okay, in your demo, your lines were way too thick, but this looks really, really good. The key with line weight is you want a good level of variation. The heavier the line, the thicker the line, the more emphasis you're gonna get on that spot. So if there's force being applied to a certain area, that line should be thicker. Just make sure that with your lines, you're gonna go thin and thick. Start drawing people. Start with the stick figure. Practice with your stick figure. Oh, okay. Box chest. Add limbs and details. Keep it stylized. Yeah, so looking at who made that video, This person's got very stylized art, and that method will definitely work for something that's really cartoony and stylized, but you know, I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to draw out realistic. How did you get your line art from pencil to digital? Oh, I think this might help a lot of people.
So once you have your scanned drawing in either Procreate or Photoshop or whatever app you use, you set the layer to multiply, and then you can choose whatever color and color underneath.
Simple and concise. That was perfect. Did you guys get that? Scan your drawing, set it to multiply, color underneath.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present you gradient mapping. Gonna use my hazel drawing, which is already rendered, and instead of adding colors, we're gonna work in grayscale. Then we're gonna go up here and click this beauty. Procreate has a couple of default gradient maps already, but you can create a new one just clicking here.
Oh.
Black represents darkest values and white lighter values. All we need to do now is change the colors and start to play around. You can add, delete, slide colors and go crazy until you get satisfied. But wait, we don't want the entire image to use the same gradients, right? No problem. Let's select the skin and create a new gradient map. Remember to click J in case you're satisfied with the result. Now we select the hair, repeat the process, and you'll get your image fully colored in seconds. In this case, I did apply the same gradient and only colored the hair separately because I was too lazy. After that, I usually create a new layer and keep adding details and colors until I'm satisfied. And that's it, my
Are they completely different from the way I like to draw? But that seems pretty fun, actually. I'll give that a shot. How to use Gaussian blur. I love that Instagram has a new feature so that I don't have to listen to this copyrighted music. Okay, gradient background, smooth shading. Ooh, wait, that was nice. Creating shadows. Oh, that's really creative. Most of the time when I'm using Gaussian blur, I'm just trying to create like this bokeh effect for the camera. Good to know that the Gaussian blur has uses other than, you know, running from our responsibilities. How to draw open mouth. Simple tutorial. Draw mouth outline to draw teeth and fangs. Don't forget the back teeth for depth. That was a good tip. Oh my god, this is going by so fast. Fill your mouth with axilla. Ooh. Wait, what was the animation at the end? That was sick. Show me that animation. Ooh, that's sick.
You suck at coloring?
Yeah.
Great, so do I. And as someone with the attention span of a chipmunk hooked on Red Bull, I just don't have the time to meticulously select colors.
Yeah.
So what's the solution? Monochromatic coloring. Here's a nice purple palette I've been using a lot recently. When making a monochromatic palette, choose a base color and then gradually go darker and darker, making sure to shift the hue so the palette isn't boring.
You could use monochromatic coloring, which is the case where you use kind of one single color family for the entire character, but if you want to spice things up a little bit, try out your complementary colors. You don't know what complementary color is? Google it, because it's gonna save your life. The best complementary color combo is blue and orange. Check it out. It's literally in all of my pieces. Blue and orange. Drawing bubbles. Bubbles. Okay. Oh. Wait. Oh, what the? Okay, let's go through this process again. So you have hard lines, soften them, soften these. Okay, that's crazy. That really captures that rainbow effect that you see in bubbles when light hits them. But one thing that I would do differently, okay, this is a bit of a lesson on textures, and that is the outside of the bubble is shiny. It's a shiny texture. When the texture of something is shiny, the highlights on that surface are going to be hard. Like for example, the highlights on your eyes are harder than the highlights on the tip of your nose because this surface is less shiny than this surface. So to make this even more convincing, put some hard highlights on these bubbles and you'll have something that looks very, very, really cool.
Can't decide between an iPad or a pen display for your digital art? Well, here are 4 iPad accessories that make your iPad feel like a pen display. Number 1, the Sketchboard Pro iPad stand. One of the pros of a pen display is the sturdy form factor when sitting at a desk. With the Sketchboard Pro, you can bring that same level of ergonomics to your iPad with its wide tilted surface that you can rest your hands on comfortably. You can even change from landscape to portrait and get basically the same canvas real estate as on the 24-inch pen display. Number 2, an ergonomic pen grip. Pen displays come with pens that are big, grippy, and feel great in your hands. Use an Ergo pen grip to make your Apple Pencil way more comfortable. Number 3, the iOKite keyboard from Procreate. Pen displays often come with physical hotkeys or an extra controller. For the iPad, use the iOKite keyboard to augment your touch controls. It's already mapped to Procreate's most used functions, so you can quickly undo, color pick, change brush size, open menus, and more. And finally, number 4, the paper-like matte screen protector, which transforms the slippery glass of your iPad into the paper-like drawing surface you get with most pen displays.
Oh, this is by Rishi Draws. Okay guys, story time. Rishi has a YouTube channel that's pretty big, so when he comments on my videos, YouTube sends me a notification, and I'm there like, who's that, right? But Rishi leaves a comment, and then people reply to Rishi's comment, and then Rishi replies to all of their comments. So I get notification after notification after notification from Rishi. Rishi, please seek help. Do your meet and greets on your own channel, not on my comment section. God, should we start beef with Rishi? How to avoid hands like a pro. Oh yes, hands in pockets. I love that one. Put them behind the head. Hide them behind the back. Just cut them off. Yeah, I do this all the time. All the time. Running the head over here. All the time. This is an amazing video.
Clip studio tip of the day, all of these were done with AI. I did not color them. Take your line art and then simply hit colorize, and it doesn't work as well on darker skin. Method 2 is to add some hint colors.
Doesn't work as well with darker skin. Clip studio, what's going on? What are you guys doing over there in Japan?
Separate layer, it can be messy, it can be neat, whatever. And then you use hint image and colors, make sure your lines are set to reference layer. I cleaned it up here. Method 3 is my favorite, your base colors on a separate layer. Then put your hint colors, they can be very bright, nice, and then do colorize and clip it.
Oh, you know what? That was pretty cool. So you guys see, this is not the horrible kind of AI that takes the artist out of the workflow entirely, but this actually is a tool that you can use in your arsenal. So I think that's kind of cool. What? What did you... Okay. Noise, scale, ridges. That's crazy. Oh my god. This image is so satisfying to look at. I want to eat it. Please help.
Do you accidentally draw your characters cross-eyed?
All the time.
Worse. Try this. Draw 2 rough circles, not too perfect, but it'll look uncanny. Now set them in the middle of your empty, soulless eyes and move them around with whatever this tool is called until you find a position you like. Erase the overlaps and don't forget the highlights now.
That's actually pretty smart, because when I'm trying to adjust the eyes, I'm always like painting slightly over the edge, erasing back, painting over the edge again, erasing back, making these tiny adjustments, but this seems like it's so easy to do. But one thing you gotta remember is when the eyeballs rotate off to the side, the shape of the iris actually changes. The more you look off to the side, the more oval your iris is gonna appear. So keep that in mind.
This brush in the asset store is perfect
This brush in the what store?
for easily coloring in some circles. Here's a quick example.
Oh wow.
Boom.
Now is that a booba or is that Squidward's nose?
Oop, I have the perfect shadow. Of course, you can do the same with airbrush, but I just think this comes out more even and neater. Here's a little example on a blank circle. You get that nice, even shadow. Soft on one side, hard on the other side. You can even use it for highlights if you want.
I feel like this would be really, really useful. Maybe I should make a brush like this. When you're too lazy to pick the right color, what's going on here? What? I'm so mad. That looks like it actually works.
Let's talk about 2 line art tips to help your line art.
2 line art tips. Okay, let's go.
I guess, yeah. Specifically about line weight.
Am I getting... Is this deja vu or have you seen this before?
When using line art, the general rule for indicating depth is by using thicker line weight to show objects that are closer to you and using thinner line weight to show objects farther away from you.
Didn't know that.
We We can see this principle used in this illustration by Tim Prober, where the closest objects to us have thicker line weight, and then as we go back into the distance, like in these mountains, we can see that the line weight is very, very thin compared to the ones in the foreground.
That's kind of cool, actually. I like this.
Add a private
photo that won't show up near time lapses. What does that mean?
photo that won't show up near time lapses by tapping the wrench icon, going to the add button, and instead of tapping insert a photo, swipe to the right and tap insert private photo. In the layers menu, the image is labeled private. You can tap N and lower the opacity of the layer to make it easier to trace your image.
Wait. Why is this a thing? Okay, wait, so you're telling me that this won't show up in time-lapse recordings. So this is just a way for people to trace their drawings without letting other people know that their drawings are being traced, huh? Okay, this is not good. Why are you disclosing this information now? We can't trust anybody. Okay, so that was not bad. Now we've looked at art tips on TikTok, we've looked at art tips on Pinterest, and now we've looked at art tips on Instagram Reels. If I were to give all of these a ranking, if you want to get the best art tips, I would say go on Pinterest. That is like S tier art tips. Reels is like maybe a C tier, and TikTok is an F tier. Don't trust TikTok. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys learned something new. I know I did for sure. And with that being said, feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content just like this. And I'll see you guys on the next video. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, I want to know how many of you guys have seen my new tattoo. Look at this. Oh my god. Look at that. Yeah, get the watch off. Look at that little paw. Pretty cool, eh? You know what, guys? I look pretty sick. Now I'm out here talking to everybody with Riz. I'm an interesting man now. Yeah, I'm gonna steal your girl. Steal your grandma too while I'm at it. Okay.
Alright. Art tips from some.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to TikTok Art Tips part. Forgot what number we're on, but I'm just here to make sure TikTok is good for the art babies out there. Well, here we go again. Art tips for improving. Let's go.
Any artists having trouble placing your eyes, this is the vid for you. Take your drawing and cover a half of the face. Spend about 5 seconds to imagine where the other eye would be. Now, if you uncover a face and the eye isn't where you imagined it, it's probably in the wrong spot.
Dude! Oh my goodness, I love that. I always tell you guys, you know, when the eyes don't look right, just cover up one of the eyes, try to imagine where it is, and then take your hand off and see the monstrosity that you've created. It's so good. I wonder if you stole that from my videos. Totally fine though, but if you did, that was fantastic. But that's my art tip, so 1 out of 10 for you. How to become a better artist in 30 seconds? 30 seconds? Listen to me, young child. It takes years, many years, of grueling training, dedication, practice, and meditation. It's an art form that cannot be perfected in 30 seconds. Anyways.
Number 1.
Steven.